er bent. Wachten. Pik!
John, tell us a little bit about how you got into this business.
I started 20 years ago, went to a dog training school called the International School of Animal Arts. My teacher was Maurice Cornelissen. He's from Belgium, he's a Belgian trainer, and he's the one that turned me on to the Belgian Malinois. And a lot of my contacts over in Belgium. Went to school with him for a year and a half, and then when I graduated from school, I apprenticed under Maurice for about 4 years. And then after that, I went on my own. And I go to Europe every year for about 2 to 3 months, and I train with the Belgian trainers. And that's where I pick up my breeding stock and things like that.
The dog was originally bred for sheep herding in Belgium. And the Belgian Malinois Club first started in 1891. It was basically a neighborhood mutt that the shepherds would use each other's dog to breed, and they kept breeding the dog for the better working dogs, you know, to work with the sheep. And then they've come up with the Belgian sheepdog. And then there's several different types. There's the Groenendael, the Leekenois, the Malinois, the Taverne. Most of the other countries, only in France and France-speaking Belgium, call them Malinois. The dog originally comes from the town of Mechelen in Belgium, and the Dutch, the Flemish-speaking Belgians, and the Germans call them Mechelers, Mecheler herders. So there's more people that call them Mechelers than people that call them Malinois, but in this country we call them Malinois. All right, the breed standard as far as color goes, it goes from a light fawn to a dark mahogany. Some white on the chest and toes is permissible. The ears should be short pricked ears. They have a short tail. The males go as high as 27.5 inches. Females, I think it's 26 inches. And they're as short as 22 inches. Now, there's every country has a different standard in the breed. In the American AKC, I'm really not that quite sure what the standard is for the AKC dogs. In Belgium, the dogs are much bigger, much more muscular than the French dogs. The Dutch dogs are a little bit bigger than that. So it depends on which country is really the standard. You know, the American standard, it's usually the more smaller, petite type dog. The Belgium standard is a much big, heavier, stronger, powerful dog. This is the first dog of the day. Actually, I did work Ricky today, which is my dog, and I couldn't believe he was up to that today. Back when the breed first started, they used the dog for sheep herding. And then as time goes by and there wasn't that many sheep herding farmers around, they started using the dog for personal protection and sport. When you start using the dog for personal protection and sport, they started looking to make the dog a little bit bigger and stronger to be able to deal with a man. So they started breeding the dog a little bit with the German Shepherd way back, and you got a little bit more size to the dog. When you do look at the two breeds, they look like cousins. I mean, there's no doubt about it that they're related. And they would, basically the Belgian Malinois is one of the few breeds that aren't really bred for conformation, where the German Shepherd's bred it's very big industry in the conformation world. The Malinois, it's a very small industry, so the dogs are bred strictly for working. And that's why they're so athletic and fast and strong and trainable, because only the best working dogs are bred, and looks is not really considered. They need a lot of exercise. They're a very athletic dog. They're extremely athletic. A lot of people that know the breed would say that they have springs in their legs. They have a short coat, so it's pretty easy to maintain. You get an undercoat rake and a shedding blade, and you brush the dog once a week, and the dog will be, you know, maintained really well.
I told him to lay down. He laid down in this position. He won't move that position until he realizes he should get comfortable, because he knows he's going to do some work. And he's always going to keep himself in a ready position. As a track runner, when he's on the starting line, he's in a ready position. Now I leave the room. He's here by himself. And he's protecting this tire. This tire could be a suitcase with money in it. It could be a baby in a chair. Anything you want. We're using the tire right now because everything else would slide all over the floor. Blood.
A lot of times when these dogs are playing or doing whatever attack work or anything, they don't growl at all.
Well, the dog that growls is usually warning you to get away. A growl is a warning sign when the dog's a little nervous. If a dog wants you, he's not going to growl, he's going to stalk. And he's going to come take you. Like a wolf in the wild would never growl at the deer. He's going to stalk him and then take him when he has the opportunity. And these dogs, they're totally offensive, they're not defensive animals.
Well, they're a sheepdog, so children become part of the pack. They're very social dogs. I find that they get along together well. You know, they'll fight a little bit over food. Once in a while you'll see puppies, but generally they cohabitate with other dogs real well. If they're raised with children and the children treat the dog nice, they love the children. They're very protective of their family and their property because they're sheepdogs and that's what they're bred for. So they're a very social dog.
Are there any inherent health problems with the Malinois?
Found in the dogs that I've been breeding the last 18 years, zero. Never had a problem, never had a dysplastic dog. I've had some disqualification things that wouldn't judge health problems, where a dog would have an overbite or an underbite, something like that. But I've never had a hot spot on a dog, never had hip dysplasia. Autoimmune systems are very, very strong on these breeds. Never had sick ones. If I had some puppies come down with a virus or something, they always shake it. They're really easy to maintain, these dogs.
What are the differences between the male and the female Malinois?
Females are a little bit more sensitive, I would say. And this is just generally speaking, because you're always going to find a female that's just as tough and rough as a male. They're a little bit weaker because males are bigger and stronger. And I noticed that the males have a little bit more character when doing the sport, and you're really putting stress on the dogs that the males handle it a little bit better than the females. But there's really not that much difference, besides the obvious that the males are bigger and stronger.
Assisted by Tom Pinelli of York Springs, Pennsylvania, Craig Barton of Florida shows us his female Malinois, Maui.
Flyer. Pocket. Good girl.
What is the trainability of the Belgian Malinois?
The dogs are very athletic, and they have very, very quick reflexes. So if you can deal with the quick reflexes, they're very intelligent. They learn very, very fast. They excel in everything they do. I have a dog in West Virginia that everybody in the town uses the dog to herd their cows. The dog was never taught to do this. They'll just come over to my friend's house, pick up their dog, bring it over to their field, and the dog will herd up all their cows, put them in a puddle, and then they could just bring them in. As far as obedience training, very, very easy to obedience train, as long as you know how to deal with their quick reflexes.
Trainer Pat Murray of New York shows us his Malinois in action, who goes by the name of Turbo.
Hey, you got my wallet? Hey! Come on back here! Guys! Let him have it. Come here!
Hey, Mark, what you give the dog for? I want to spin to the right.
Come here. Nigga. Come on, come on. Hey, come out. Hey! Double!
There was a bounty on a Malinois down on the border of Mexico and the United States because the dog was making so many busts for drugs that the drug lords put a bounty, a couple $1 million on this dog because he was just picking up too much stuff. And there's a million stories on the Malinois. The United States government only uses this breed now because they're so resilient. They work really well in the heat. They handle the cold really well. I've had litters of puppies born in a doghouse in the middle of the winter, and none of them died. They're, you know, like people will always say about mutts never get sick and mutts can survive anything. These dogs are kind of like the mutts, where they're just so healthy and resilient.
Hi, my name's Mike Payton. I live in Lisbon, Connecticut. And, this is my dog Farouk. He's a Belgian Malinois, and he has a Ring 3 title in French ring sport.
Oh, man. Right in the breadbasket. Yeah, give me a second. He hit me right in the breadbasket, man. Right in the sternum. Move whenever I want.
We thank decoy helper Joe Lake of Niantic, Connecticut for his assistance in this breed segment.
There's not that much difference between the three sports. A sport is a sport, as in soccer and hockey are basically the same game, played a little bit differently. Schutzhund is a sport more geared towards the German Shepherd, and it was a breed suitability test to test whether the dog was worthy of being bred. Ring sport, French ring sport and Belgian ring sport were designed as an activity, something to do with your dog. And they've developed a pretty intense sport. And like I said, it's very similar to Schutzhund. There's obedience, agility, some form of tracking, retrieving, and then protection work. The Belgian ring sport and the French ring sport are a lot more into it than the Schutzhund. There's a lot more things going on in the sports. The difference between the French and the Belgian sport is It's very, very similar. The biggest difference is the villains work in a different way, and the French is a little bit more geared towards more of a military type of overtone, where the Belgian import's more of a civilian type of overtone. Well, a protection dog, to me, if you live in a suburb where there's crime, and there's very few suburbs in the United States or cities that doesn't have crime, I can't see anybody not having a dog like this. They make great companions. They're a lot of fun. You can take the dogs anywhere you go if you have a well-disciplined, obedient, balanced dog, and they'll defend their family and their property with their life. So I can't see why anybody would buy anything but a dog that could, like a German Shepherd, a Malinois, or a working dog.
What do you require of a buyer who wishes to purchase a dog from you?
That's a hard one because, you know, somebody could come in here with a Rolls Royce, buy a puppy for $1,000 and not take care of that dog, and a poor person can come in here that looks like a bag man, you know, living in the streets and share his last meal with the dog, and the dog will sleep in the same box as him. That doesn't make him less of a better owner because he's not rich. Desire, I look for someone that wants a dog and wants a dog to be a companion. I don't make too much judgments on people because you really can't tell a book by its cover. So to meet somebody and talk to them for 5 minutes doesn't mean you know them to make a judgment whether they're going to be a good owner. Some people have this idea that only they could be a good owner to the dog and nobody else could be a good owner. I don't believe that. If you want a dog and you show me that you're really into the dog and you're looking for a companion, a dog to spend time with, that's pretty much it. You know?
What should somebody look for when they're selecting a puppy for protection or dog sport work?
What you want to do is find a puppy that can deal with stressful situations and overcome them. If he's a little shy of something that he's never seen before and can overcome it within a few minutes, I would say that'll be a good puppy. A happy, free puppy is always the best pick. A puppy that you can bring into a strange room, put him down, he'll run around. If you push a chair over and it falls, he doesn't run and hide. He'll act a little curious of it, a little cautious of it, but yet he'll still make his way over to it and check it out. And then after 2 minutes, it doesn't matter anymore, and he's running around. Different types of breeders. There's breeders that are breeding dogs just to make money, and they're looking to breed a dog to a dog, have puppies, and sell the puppies. I breed my dogs for work. I breed them primarily for ring sport, police training. So I'm breeding dogs for character, strength, soundness, balance. My dog should be able to handle any situation, be able to recover from any situation, to be strong, powerful, disease-free, defect-free as far as congenital defects go, and to be able to handle all climates. And, you know, that's basically, you know, what my goals are, is to make the breed stronger and stronger, not weaker and weaker.
We'd like to thank decoy helper Howard Schreck of Brooklyn, New York, and Cliff Benjamin of Long Island, New York, for their assistance in this breed segment.